Hey Zooba fam, I made a wonderful Steve squad guides video for you, which I hope greatly improves your performance when playing with him. When coming up with ideas on how to present Steve to you, I had to think very deeply about my personal experiences with him, particularly where I struggled the most. And I came to this realization that most people fail with Steve simply because they lack the understanding on how to properly execute a landing using his active. So I'm going to be offering you a quick guide on how to choose the best landing site for your Steve when using his active. But first, we need to very quickly walk through what loadouts work best for a character like Steve and why. If you only have 3 item slots, rest assured Steve is still a viable character regardless of his handicap. I recommend using Defib, Vampire Teeth, and Adrenaline Shot. However, if you have 4 item slots, you are in some incredible luck because Steve's character design is so versatile that you shouldn't have trouble finding a spec that fits your playstyle. My personal all-rounder squad loadout is Defib, Vampire Teeth, Adrenaline Shot, and Holy Sandals. Defib is amazing at picking up your allies when they fall down, and considering that Steve has very high mobility as an immune to damage when flying, he is incredibly exceptional as a defibrillator user. Vampire Teeth is wonderful for self-sustain, and any good player who's capable of dishing out maximum damage is going to benefit so greatly with Vampire Teeth in their arsenal. Adrenaline Shot makes sense for Steve because he is a low health hero, and when coupled with Vampire Teeth, he is able to play far more aggressively when he is at the edge of his life. Finally, my last mandatory pick is probably going to be Holy Sandals. It's a wonderful choice and allows Steve to play very aggressively near the water. Now for the fun stuff, what about the alternatives? Well, Jungle Shoes is an amazing frontrunner as Steve still retains his speed boost that he gets from leaving the patch of grass even during his flight. When combined with Holy Sandals, Steve can travel ridiculously quickly while in the air. This also gives a massive speed advantage when fighting tanks in the savannah. And here's the crazy part. This build actually inspires the legendary Super Saiyan Steve build. Be warned, before I reveal you the spec, you should understand that this spec is by far the most difficult spec to master for Steve. It requires you to have an incredibly competent team, but also your ability to instinctively press the health kit at the right time, because you can't rely on Adrenaline Shot anymore, so you're all on your own. The spec is Jungle Shoes, Holy Sandals, Vampire Teeth, and Muscles. This spec destroys nearly everything at the zoo and allows you to play Steve almost like he's a buck, but just a lower health version of him. The passive speed generation that Steve develops is very intense even without flight, and it can be advised to use his flight active ability simply to disengage when you're at lower health. Track the spec next time you play squads, and I guarantee you will make so many friends in the zoo if you prove yourself to be a superior carrier. Before we dive into some gameplay, let's quickly go over how to correctly distribute your attributes for Steve. I prioritize range and cooldown for the spear and put the remainder of my points into knockback. For the bow and shotgun, I evenly distributed range, cooldown, and velocity. This gives you the biggest benefit and the maximum value. Finally, I should go over Steve's Primal Instinct, Passive, and Active. Steve's Primal Instinct is called Rash Landing and increases the damage and radius of his active, Rude Sweep. His passive is called Easy Prey. It allows Steve to lock onto a nearby opponent, revealing their position, and will continue to track them, assuming they stay within close proximity of Steve. Steve's passive also increases the damage the locked opponent takes. Steve's active is very strong. He will fly up into the air for about 3 seconds, become immune to all damage, and has increased flight speed. Upon landing, he does area effect damage in a pretty decent sized radius. Alright, so this is an amazing battle. This fight literally lasts less than 12 seconds, but so much happens in these 12 seconds. I'm going to break down every detail with you that I calculated during this battle. This is the instant that I decided to engage the enemy team. I take flight and I immediately notice that the enemy team has mostly tanks and are relatively stacked. It is roughly half a second before I land that I decide exactly where I need to be. I need to land where I can easily disengage the enemy team in preparation to take flight once more my ability is available. The spot is perfect. There are 3 enemies within the range of my weapons, and I can easily disengage to the left where my allies are able to protect me. As I begin to disengage, I notice the defib is incoming. This is a very important moment to understand. I fired my weapons prior to the defib going through. This is because I calculated the amount of time it would take the Jade to defib his ally versus the amount of time it would take for me to land all of my hits. So I was able to strike both players down once again, but I noticed as Frank is now coming in to defib his ally. I noticed once more that my abilities are on cooldown, so I immediately begin to disengage towards my allies. Once I'm able to take flight, I do, but my purpose is not to kill the Jade, but to simply scare her away. Since her teammates are dying, she has two choices. She can either go back and die with them, or she can run away. Either choice works for me. So the weirdest thing happens here, and I actually doubted myself for a moment. It's bad. It's really bad. Like, when this happened, I actually thought to myself, oh my god, Div is a hacker. We need to report him and get him banned now. But then I later looked at the replay, and it's very obvious that I'm not a hacker. So, yay, go me! As you can see, Divinus fires a shotgun perfectly underneath my flight vector. Though it appears the blast could have been shot by a hacking Steve, it's very evident when you check the killing feed, and Divinus is the one who got the killing blow. So yay, no need to self-report. Got 2 down. I'm gonna struggle to pick up the legendary, I know that. Whoa, they took a hit. That was massive. Okay, as much as I want. Dienstag! GG's. What a hit, what a hit. Let's give him a thumbs up though. Let's give him a thumbs up.